Glenn Twiddle is an author of countless books on marketing, real estate, and business concepts. He's known as the Millionaire Real Estate Coach, and he coaches #1 real estate agents across the country and runs a large marketing boot camp for real estate professionals nationally. Glenn's marketing systems have taken agents from a standing start to becoming #1 in their area with a simple fill-in-the-blank series of marketing and sales tools, out-of-the-box techniques, and autopilot systems. Leading agents such as Chris Gilmore, Michael Spillane, and Andrew Rybelt rely on Glenn's work, and I am so happy to have with us author, event producer, speaker, and trainer, Glenn Twiddle. Wow.
After that introduction, I can't wait to hear what I've got to say.
What amazing things you've accomplished. But it's all true, and that's what's exciting about it. I mean, you've made such an impact for people in the real estate business, and so they see you on stage. You're a little bit bigger than life, Glenn, as we all know.
I do my best.
But you know, I think what's people would really want to know is they don't really know Glenn, the other part of Glenn. Can you just tell us, how did you get inspired to come into this industry and do what you do to help the real estate business?
Well, many of your viewers may not know of a place called Ipswich, but I grew up in a place called Ipswich, which is a lower socio-demographic area, somewhat. I know we're here in America doing a wonderful shoot, but back home, we're kind of like, the best term would be a redneck, but a great area to grow up. But I grew up in that area, and until real estate, I hadn't earned very much money. I'd earned normal money, and then, but what happened was I was playing music. I was playing guitar and singing and being a musician. And that was my job on the weekends. So I started, a friend of mine got into real estate, and he said, do you want to come and have a look at this real estate thing? And I wasn't doing anything all week, every week. I was doing nothing during the, I should have been practicing. I wasn't. I was watching Oprah or something. So, real estate started as a hobby, and I would just do it part-time during the week as a bit of a hobby. And then in my first year, I earned more with my hobby than I did with my music career. So ever since then, the line between the music being the hobby again and real estate being, and I ended up being pretty good at it. So people started to ask me, how are you doing it? And I sort of became a trainer and a speaker by default, rather than, it certainly wasn't the grand plan.
Well, I think that, you have such a passion for what you do. And, what do you think it is? Like, there's a lot of people that want to go out and they want to be successful, but you've seen people and you work with people, the successful ones and the ones that are not so successful. What do you think really makes the difference between someone who achieves the success and the ones that, for whatever reason, don't seem to be able to manifest that in their lives?
Well, it comes down to a bunch of things, but what's really interesting, that about 8 or 9 out of 10, depending on which state we're talking about, 8 or 9 out of 10 people who start in the real estate industry don't make it to their second year even. So it's a really high fallout rate. And I think that's a symptom of the fact that it's pretty easy to get into the real estate industry. There's no university degree, it's a very quick course, and little or no training on how to actually market yourself. So here's really what often happens, is we get out of our little real estate school, we've got our license, we've done a 5-day course in some states, and we haven't learned how to get a client. We haven't learned what to do. We've really only learned the legal side of it. So with that level of lack of training, no wonder we've got such a fallout rate. And what we do is we get out of our school of learning the little bit we do learn, and we look at what all of the other real estate agents in our area are doing for their marketing. And with those stats I just talked about, there's an 8 or 9 out of 10 chance that the marketing that we're looking at from our competitors is from someone who's either brand new and has less of an idea than you, or is about to leave the industry because they're failing. So I like to say, tongue-in-cheek, a mentor of mine once called that sort of situation, he called it marketing incest. I know that's a bit taboo, but just like real incest, after a couple of generations of that, we get a little bit dumb. And so, it's kind of, That's what we're dealing with right now. So the good news is, for real estate agents who want to get in, is that you don't have to be very good to be above the average. And so I teach guys to be as good as they can be, and we've got success stories, coming out of our bottoms, because it's just, because people are following this proven system of what actually works, what the 1 or 2 out of 10 are doing who make it. And we model those guys, not the masses who are doing little or nothing with their careers.
And you brought up an interesting point, because you bring up the idea of mentors. And maybe you could just share, did you have a specific mentor that helped you when you first started to lead you?
A specific one? Probably not. I was first handed a copy of The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz, and then I read Think and Grow Rich and all of those books. And when I first was handed those books and told, you should read this stuff, I thought, oh no, and this is no disrespect to the Amway people, but I thought in my little limited thinking that that's what Amway people read. If I'm motivated enough to go buy a $20 book from a bookshop, then I'm motivated, I don't need to go buy a motivational book. But I begrudgingly read those books. And then I became a bit of a junkie. I read everything. And then I found audio programs. I added it up the other day. A student was asking me, how much have you trained? I added it up. It's more than, substantially more than, but conservatively, 5,000 hours of audio training, seminars, speakers, whatever it is, 5,000 hours of audio or seminars in training, role-playing, and getting that 5,000. And that culmination in all of those mentors, I could roll them off. There'd be Anthony Robbins and Joel Bauer, Dan Kennedy. The list is countless. It's everyone, effectively, And so I learned those little bits from every one of them. I immersed myself. I even studied clinical hypnosis, NLP, and I hypnotized myself into thinking the way these successful people think. And now people come to me for the same thing.
That's such a great point, because across the board, people who are successful, it's so much about mindset. People hear mindset, but it really is the things that we think, that we believe, and also the language that we use and that we tell ourselves and how we communicate to others is so powerful. In your life now, with the success that you've had, and you're extremely passionate about life just as a person, which I think is so infectious, and people, that's why they love to be around you and they love to work with you. Now that you've had the success you've had, what's next for you? What's the higher purpose of what you want to contribute with what you do?
I did set a goal many years ago that my goal was to be the Anthony Robbins of Australian real estate. And I set a goal this last year that I wanted every single real estate agent in my state to know my name. Now, they could not like me, and some people don't like me. The infectious thing you talked about, oftentimes I'm crazy and I'm very enthusiastic about life and about what I do. And some people don't like that, and that's cool. But I wanted everyone, I never wanted to hear from any person in my target market, Glenn who. Even if they didn't like me, I didn't want to hear Glenn who. So I guess the next step for me is for that same thing to be for the whole country, that they know my name and that but you know what? That's a little bit of a self-important thing. Really, what that would do for the clients, what that would do for my people, my friends who come to me for help, is I get to help more people.
Right.
More people with these out-of-the-box strategies, because I don't do everything the same way, make more cold calls, knock on doors. I don't teach them that. I teach them how to position themselves so that more people come to them wanting to list their homes, wanting to buy homes. So they don't have to do those old traditional marketing techniques like cold calls that end up with an 8 or 9 out of 10 fallout rate. Right. I teach them how to get people to come to them, and that's certainly a much more pleasant business life to have people come to you predisposed to want what you've got as a real estate agent, rather than having to crunch them into listing or whatever the case may be.
Well, I think the nicest thing about it is you make the experience fun, we should love what we do, and you clearly do love what you do. But I think you bring such a sense of joy and fun to what you do, and the people that work with you obviously experience the same thing. And I just am really excited to have a chance to spend some time with you. And if people want to find out more about your company and what you do, how do they reach you?
Well, I suppose like any good marketing trainer, I guess I should be practicing what I preach, that if they Googled real estate training anywhere in the country, I should be, if I'm teaching marketing, I should be up the top, shouldn't I? So, but if they Google Glenn Twiddle, they'll certainly find me everywhere. So online, glenntwiddle.com.au, but you can find me on Facebook.
And how do you spell your last name?
Oh, Twiddle, Twiddle.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Right.
But they'll find me.
Right.
Facebook, Google, whatever.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't doubt that. You know? But no, you are such a pleasure, and I just really appreciate you spending this time. It's going to be of real value to a lot of people.
My pleasure, Kari. Lovely meeting you, I promise you.
Thanks, Glenn.